Hello, lovely people. It is a beautiful day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. I'm actually on Mount Shasta right now and really excited to be here with you today. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this lovely day and for safe travels. Thank you so much for allowing me to go up to the Mother Temple to serve and to learn and to fellowship and be part of the Mother Temple service. And also, thank you so much for all the things that you are doing here in Mount Shasta to prepare the way for all the great things that are going to be here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for these divine scriptures that we are about to read that are going to give us some awesome tips on herbal medications, things that we can use all around us to heal ourselves rather than the false medicines of the world. Please bless this time that we have together and bless everybody that is listening. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Today on the Nasarean calendar, it is Family Day, and for the noontime peace contemplation, it is here on our screen. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To my family and friends, send your angel of love. Help us be loving towards them, to plant seeds, to help the world awaken. And this one in particular, this noontime peace contemplation, our family and friends, not just our blood relatives, but the people that we are in community with, the people that we live with, the people that we spend time with, the people that we work with. All of these people are included in that prayer, not just this, bless only my blood, bless only the people that look like me, right? Realistically, in the Holy Megillah, we read in the creation story, such a beautiful, beautiful creation story about how Lord and Lady literally started doing this dance, and the sparks of light that came off of them, essentially, these sparks started flying, and those were the souls that came into existence. Those are all of the souls, and that means that we're all brothers and sisters. All beings are our brothers and sisters. And the faster that we start acting like that and loving each other, the quicker that we can get to the promised paradise, that Edenic millennial reign of Christ, the golden age. All of these ancient scriptures, even the mainstream Bible, talk about this restoration of Eden. And part of that is loving our animal brothers and sisters, loving our human brothers and sisters, where no matter what color skin they're in, no matter what religion they are, no matter what political beliefs they are. It all comes down to us being loving and just choosing love over everything. We're going to read some really awesome teachings, not just today, but some of the deeper teachings about love and giving the nod to wisdom, the ultimate wisdom, or wisdom giving the nod to love, I'm sorry, and the ultimate wisdom being the nod to love and saying love is the all attractive force, love reigns supreme, and choosing that love over, arguing with people and creating division. I'm right, you're wrong. All of these, like so many different things in our world, are designed to pit us against each other so that we can't create that Edenic paradise. We can't be frolicking around Eden if we're at each other's throats trying to, survive, trying to, in some cases, eat one another. All of these things have to change in order for us to get back to Eden. So, without further ado, today we're going to be continuing the reading. Finally, I know I've been traveling a while, and this chapter is quite long. My slides today are 65, and there are some like space slides in there for me to cut my scenes, but it was a lot of effort to put into this, but it's really awesome for me, especially to get to have more in-depth study of this. When you actually have to go and make a slide for each one, it is more time-consuming, obviously, and you're actually writing, or in my case, typing, getting pictures, all of these different things to help solidify the information in our minds. So The Holy Megillah, the Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way. It's translated by Day of Greenleaf and available at essene.org. When the 2026 final Megillah is printed, the full PDF of the entire book will be available for free online, as well as the hardbound copy. You already know I'm going to be getting myself probably multiple hardbound copies. In my house right now, I have 3 of them. My old one, this one, one of Days actually, and actually maybe another one as well. So I have quite a few of them. I absolutely love this book. Chapter 55 is where we are going today. And it is, we just talked about we had Yahshua's teachings on universal tantra and how the sword of truth becomes a sword of love when that nod of wisdom to love is given. And really great stuff. So chapter 55 is the Magdalene teaches at Mount Carmel on enchanted gardens, herbal cleansing, and fasting. Let me make sure. Cool. Hey, Dave. Dave says, woohoo, streaming from Shasta looks great. Thank you. It's definitely nice to be back in Mount Shasta after all the traveling. And fitting that we're going to be reading a little bit of Magdalene's teachings right after we just celebrated Mother's Day, which I'll just take a little detour for a second to show this. Cool. For Mother's Day, we honored our 4 mothers, Mother Earth, Mother Nature all around us, our human mother, our biological mother, as Dave mentioned in church, whether they were the best mother or not so good, they gave us a lot of teachings and they gave us life. And, sometimes even how not to be is sometimes part of the lesson. So, our guru mother, Mary Magdalene, who we're going to be reading from today, and our mother goddess, Jala. So remember the first 4, Ja, Jala, Jade, and Jana. Those 2 are included, and then our Earth Mother and our Mother Earth. It's always great to go and be part of the service up there. So let me just take this off and let's do this. Cool. Without further ado now, the Magdalene teaches at Mount Carmel on enchanted gardens, herbal cleansing, and fasting. While the Lord and Lady and their companions visited the Nasareans of Mount Carmel, Magdalene was asked by the Guild of Nasarean Herbalists of Carmel of the Raphaim to teach a class on herbal cleansing. When that day came, dozens of Nasareans gathered in the circle in the center of the orchard to hear Miriam speak. A portion of that talk now follows. Miriam said, "Converts to the Nasarean religion generally need cleansing. Unlike long-term Nasareans, newcomers often have not eaten a vegetarian diet for very long. They are often still filled with filth. So, herbal cleansing must be adapted to fit the needs of different sorts of people and situations. For many will come to you and beg that you heal them of their various illnesses. Tell them this. Hippocrates visited Nasareans at Mount Carmel and learned the Essene proverb that his countrymen now quote. Let your food be your medicine. That is why we call our religion the Nasarean religion of the Essene Way. The Essene Way is the healing way, provided that we live that way. The proverb Hippocrates learned from Nasarean healers is the foundation stone of the healing way. Our diet, exercise, and spiritual practices are a wellness lifestyle that is part of Essene Yoga. Essene Yoga is introduced in the sixth canto of the Bahir Shabbathayim, and Yashua and I teach the advanced yogic teachings of Beten Jallah, our beloved yoga teacher at the Nasarean encampment near Benares. Beyond our normal diet, which is wellness promoting, Nasarean herbalists will intervene to prescribe specific herbal treatments when appropriate, beginning with mild herbal interventions. The most primary form of herbalism, the plants we eat as food, can cure many people who are unwell, provided they also abstain from unhealthy practices. Tell them, now go and repeat not your unhealthy practices, else the same unwellness may return. Of course, depending on the severity and type of unwellness, some will need greater intervention. Wherefore, we Nasarean herbalists occasionally recommend other interventions, always the least obtrusive as possible. Some will need additional cleansing besides the conversion to a healthy vegetarian diet. The Nasarean diet itself provides a gentle herbal cleanse. Wherefore, we taught Hippocrates, let your food be your medicine. I love how that is actually in the scene. Proverb, but not surprising. Pythagoras, too, visited the Nazareans of Mount Carmel and studied sacred geometry and herbalism. He sailed into our secret port not far from where we are now gathered. Both Hippocrates and Pythagoras are noted for their use of fasting and herbal cleansing. But neither Hippocrates or Pythagoras were initiated Nazareans, and so they knew only some of the teachings. I studied for 7 years with Beten Jallah at the Essene encampment near Benares in India. She explained how the Indian sage Charaka studied with Nasarean Essenes and adapted many of our wellness practices and herbal teachings into his text, Charaka Samhita, the primary text of what Hindu yogis call Ayurveda. The Sanskrit word Ayurveda means life wisdom, which is what the Nasarean wizardess Rafa named it. Both wellness and healing are fruits of life wisdom. The first written text of Essene Ayurveda was by Rafa, who learned it orally from Isha. Just for those who, we'll get that in a minute. I'll remind you who Rafa is in a moment. Although Nasarean Ayurveda is taught within the context of our tribe of healers, some general wellness practices and basic herbal practices are taught to all Nasareans. In the Golden Path of Healing, Nasarean Ayurveda and many Nasarean herbal practices are treated as subcategories of dietary practices. Those interested in studying Nasarean Ayurveda in great depth should join the tribe of healers, Shevet Raphaim. Today, I will provide teachings on some aspects of herbal cleansing and related topics. Behold, Nasarean herbal cleansing is based on the following first premise. We each must choose our own herbs for cleansing. We consult with Nasarean herbalists, as well as study the best herbal texts. From that accumulated wisdom, we learn that certain herbs are known to promote cleansing, wellness, and radiant beauty. But each of us must develop a living relationship with herbs to truly know which herb is appropriate in any given moment for our well-being. Each person has a unique constitution. The same is true of each herb. Wherefore, each of us must carefully choose what herbs we use for cleansing for any purpose. The decision of what will enter our body is our own. Never force your herbal interventions on another. We are each our own primary caregiver. Never give that authority over to another, for none can know your body as well as you. Others, even the greatest healers and experts, can give advice, but you are ultimately your own chief doctor. Seek good advice, but know that you are responsible for your own wellness practices and herbal interventions. In addition to the intellectual study of herbs, which is not to be neglected, Nasareans work with Raphael, the angel of peace, who was personally trained by her teacher Isha to become the Zikna or eldress of the tribe of elders, to intuit when to use one herb or another. As we have on our screen here, Raphael, the angel of peace, she was trained by Isha, and you can read about her starting in Genesis 18. The tribe of healers, Shevet Raphaim, takes its name from Rapha. One way that we work with Rapha to intuit herbal wisdom is as follows. Hold an herb in your hand and place it in turn over each of your 7 primary chakras. Then recite or sing these words. Raphael, angel of peace and healing, I am open to the wisdom of this herb, here and now. After reciting the words, be silent and receive intuitively the inner guidance from the angel of peace and healing, Raphael. When it comes to herbal cleansing, I recommend herbs that are not only known to be effective for that purpose, cleansing, but are also known to be very safe. Some herbs are used for cleansing because they are toxic and will induce vomiting or sweating and thus promote excretion. I prefer milder treatments unless extreme intervention is required. When at home in my own herb garden, or otherwise in the best herb garden available wherever I am visiting or traveling, I commune with herbs before harvesting them. I commune with herbs in the following manner. To commune with something means to come into union with it. Of course, in Yah consciousness, we are already at union with the all and every part of the all. But in the practice of the sacred art of communion, one places one's attention on the object of communion. By doing so, we come into union in the manner of friends sharing a sacred moment together in shared awareness of one another in Yah consciousness. I commune with the herbs in the garden not only at the time of harvest, but every day when I walk through the herb garden. Behold, the best herbs for your own enchantments, diet and cleansing, or healing practices are those grown by your own hand. The next best are herbs grown by dear friends that are Nasarean green wizards. When at home each day I take a walk through my herb garden, and whatever need I feel, I eat or sniff or harvest whatever is appropriate to treat that need. Both my intellectual and intuitional faculties are stimulated by this practice. On the road, I visit the best herb gardens in the area, as I have been blessed to do both at Mount Hermon and Mount Carmel, and as I will soon do in Alexandria. It is surprising to most novice herbalists how many of the herbs typically dried to be teas or seasonings, are actually at their best when harvested fresh and used immediately. Other herbs are best dried and cured, and herbalists learn those herbs not only from study, but also from personal experience. If you have had a particular herb fresh and had that same herb dried, you directly experience which was best for particular purposes. Dried herbs retain most of the healing qualities, but fresh harvested herbs have an extra dose of life force. Dried is the common way to enjoy herbs that are not grown in your area. We also dry the herbs of our own garden for use in other seasons. But nothing is a substitute for the act of grazing a fresh herb garden and sniffing and picking whatever calls you. There is great joy in planting, nourishing, and harvesting an herb garden. The wizardly gardener enjoys watching the herbs go through their yearly cycles in the garden. Over the course of many seasons, you witness the life cycle of generation after generation of plants. You become the expert of your own herb garden. You tend to the needs of the plants and see that they are propagated. In return, the plant shares its herbage with you. The magical herbalist lives in a loving, reciprocal relationship with the plants in a personally planted enchanted herb garden. The enchanted herb garden is indeed enchanted. The wizardly gardener first decides where to plant the enchanted herb garden. That quest begins with a prayerful enchantment. Then, when the ground is worked and compost piles are established, and at each subsequent step of the gardening and harvesting process, speak, chant, or sing wizardly enchantments. Enchantments are spoken in the moment of the planting of seeds. Enchantments accompany the harvest of herbage, whether medicinal herbs or our daily vegetables. This practice is called magical gardening and includes the awareness of how the moon cycles relate to planting and harvesting. Gilgala wrote the Scroll of Magical Gardening, which includes the precepts of Adam and Eve on soil and the life force of nature. That scroll is studied by Nasarean herbalists and farmers within Essene Mountain of Peace, after their initiation into green wizards of the white rose. When you feel the need to cleanse, walk through an herb garden and smell the herbs. Commune with them. Let the herbs speak to you, and you speak to them. Usually, if you are a healthy Nasarean, you need only a mild cleanse. For Nasareans, eat a healthy vegetarian diet that is naturally cleansing. When you are inwardly called to do a cleanse, whether a mild cleanse or one of stronger intervention, try to use only herbs that were grown by you or a trusted green wizard, if at all possible. Otherwise, get them from the best source available to you. Though I am now on the road, which I call being in the wind, Jaja nevertheless pampers me. Imagine my pleasure in experiencing the best gardens wherever I go. From the amazing herb gardens of the Green Lions of Mount Hermon to these truly wonderful gardens at Mount Carmel, most days, even on the road, I am blessed to take a walk in the herb garden of a green wizard. But even when I sleep in the wilderness, the herbs surround me. For Mother Nature is a green wizardess too. But if you are not on the road, the most important step toward becoming an herbalist is to plant an herb garden. Some preliminary study is good because then you will be wiser about which herbs to plant. And a wise herbalist will continue to be a student of herbal wisdom for the rest of his or her life. But that study of herbal wisdom should supplement and empower our herbal gardening, not replace it. I say to you, if you would teach about herbs, remain an active gardener of herbs. Then, when people come and ask you to help them cleanse or heal with herbs, you can walk them through your garden. Tell them that you will guide them in a study of herbs so that they may learn to cleanse and heal themselves. Teach them what I just taught you. The study of herbal wisdom should supplement and empower our herb gardening, not replace it. Be herbal gardeners. Today, I will be speaking mostly on herbal teas for cleansing, but also briefly describe other cleansing practices. Hot herbal drinks, like the rare Chinese tea. In this book, we have tea, the word that we obviously know, but this has Chinese. I'll show you. That's not going to work out. In the text, it actually says T apostrophe E. So I will be pronouncing that to E, so that you know. And that is referring to the Chinese tea plant rather than the just word that is an umbrella phrase for all herbal teas, all teas in general, that we often use. Hot herbal drinks, like the rare Chinese tea that we shared this morning, our thanks go to the Olefim sailors that bring us such rare herbs. And the seasonings and vegetables of our soups, broths, and tonics, along with eating salads featuring cleansing herbs, all these are common examples of gentle herbal cleanses as long as the featured herbs are safe. Very safe, it says. If not grown in your own enchanted herb garden or by another green wizard, at least try to obtain your herbs from a pleasant, happy gardener. I tell you truly, the personality and the overall vibrations of the gardener interacts with the herbs. If you purchase herbs, support Nasarean herbalists when possible. Likewise, help support Nasareans that earn their daily bread by various crafts and skills within our 12 tribes by purchasing their products and services. Your money is a force that can be directed for good or evil. It is not that money is the root of evil. Rather, it is the unfair and unethical exchanges of money in the Babylon economy that is evil. Wisely direct your money in the awareness that when doing so, you create many inner and outer circumstances with others that do likewise. If you want to be part of a living, vital manifestation of the 12 tribes of Yisrael, co-create it now. How? Be it. Are you a Nasarean musician? Perhaps you are that, and also a farmer and a priest. Many of us participate in more than one of these tribes. Nasareans, find your place in the 12 tribes of Yisrael and support not only the Nasarean herbalists that I represent today, but also the other Nasarean tribes of workers. I thank the Guild of Nasarean Herbalists of Carmel and the Raphaim for this opportunity to speak on the topic of herbal cleansing. Now, I will give some examples of mild herbal cleanses. I will begin by describing some of my favorite herbal cleansing teas. I will explain the difference between simple teas and complex teas and give examples of each. Then I will give some examples of cleansing tonics, broths, soups, and salads. I will end with information on fasting as a cleansing practice, both water fasting and juice fasting. First, I will state a precept of the Raphaim. The foundation of cleansing is a daily bath. Herbage can be added to the bath water to enhance cleansing. When conditions do not permit a full bath, at least put water on a washcloth and scrub your body. And this and bathing aid the process of elimination. On a cleanse, eat and drink cleansing herbs that promote elimination. On a cleanse, you eat and drink cleansing herbs that promote elimination. Daily bathing helps remove that which is being eliminated through your skin. Water itself, internally and externally, is the primary ingredient in the cleansing. Behold, one of the purposes of water in nature and in the human body is that of cleansing. Such things as teas and soups will include cleansing herbs of various kinds, but never forget to notice that the primary ingredient in any tea or soup is water. Water is the universal cleanser, not because we give it that name, though we do give it that name, but because it actually has that property. It is that. That's why we use it for baptism rituals and various purifications. And because the Raphaim, the Nasarean healers, teach daily bathing, we Nasareans are often called the daily bathers, for the world considers this practice unusual. Likewise, we are called sun worshippers by those that mock Nasareans. Lo, in a fallen world, it is good to be unusual. Even so, I know at least one person that will not mock you for taking daily baths. Your lover. Herbal teas, along with juices, broths, tonics, and light soups, are the most watery of the Nasarean dietary cleansing practices. A drink of water will always be our primary internal cleansing agent. Water is cleansing when we drink it and urinate, cleansing when we sweat, cleansing when we bathe. Various herbs have various effects by themselves and when combined. Though teas, broths, and juices are watery, the herbs added can introduce fiery elements. The same is true of a soup, though it is not quite as watery, having bigger chunks of herbage than a broth. Our body is made of water, air, fire, soil, and the products and parts thereof. And those are the chief elements for cleansing and healing the body, along with movement. It should be noted that the practice of placing herbs in heated water to extract properties from the herbs into the water to make a drink that is mostly still water, herbal teas, is divided into two categories by Nasarean master herbalists. Those two categories are called infusions and decoctions. Infusions only slightly differ from decoctions. An infusion is prepared as follows. An infusion typically consists of the above ground parts of a plant, often the leaves and or flowers. If you bring the water to a boil and then you pour it onto the herbage and let it steep away from the fire. It needs no additional fire. A decoction, on the other hand, does need a period of contact between the herbage and the boiling water over the fire. That is because, unlike the infusion that deals with softer parts of the plant, the decoction typically consists of tougher plant parts, such as roots, twigs, extra tough leaves, and barks. Though twigs and barks are above ground parts of the plant, like roots, they typically need a longer period of heat than soft flowers and leaves. Though seeds are generally associated with flowers and infusions, some larger, tougher seeds are prepared by decoction due to their need of prolonged high heat. If the finished liquid is consumed as a drink, Nasarean herbalists call it an herbal tea, whether or not the herbage was prepared by infusion or decoction. Some non-Nasarean herbal traditions only consider an infusion of herbage to be a tea. Let me just repeat that. Some non-Nasarean herbal traditions only consider an infusion of herbage to be a tea. They consider a decoction to be other than a tea. That difference is not important. It is just a difference in categorizing and naming things. In regard to herbal cleansing teas, if but one herb is added to the water, that drink is called a simple tea. If 2 or more herbs are combined in the water, behold, you have brewed a complex tea. When you make a simple tea, you are practicing simple alchemy. You are practicing more complex alchemy when you combine 2 or more herbs to brew a complex tea. Another precept of the Raphaim is a wise tea maker does not combine one herb with another without reason. Lo, learning these reasons is part of the wizardly path of the Essene tea master. Every Essene herb master of the Raphaim is also an Essene tea master. I don't know about you, but I definitely want to be a tea master. Some of my favorite simple teas for cleansing are as follows. The Magdalene gestured to the teapot near the morning fire and said, "Behold, the Chinese tea that we drank this morning is a stimulating tea that is an excellent cleanser when not overused. It will not retain its stimulating, cleanse-promoting quality if overused. I prefer green tea rather than black because it is easier on the kidneys. Not everyone, overly nervous people, for example, should drink such a stimulating herb. A stimulating tea fires up the nervous system and promotes cleansing. But if you fall into the habit of firing up your nervous system on a daily basis, there are unpleasant repercussions. It is difficult to establish a balanced daily energy level if we keep firing up the body with stimulants. I do not recommend drinking stimulating herbs like tea on a daily basis without good reason. Generally, I do not recommend having a strongly stimulating tea more than 3 days per week, and just once or twice per week is better for most folks. Oh, so my slides are out of line. Sorry about that. Okay. If you overdo Chinese tea or other stimulants, it can be debilitating rather than healing. Stimulants fire up the nerves and kick your body into higher speed. That can induce cleansing and thus wellness if done now and then. Tea is relatively mild and safe, but not if overused or used in excess. Overuse of any stimulating tea can be hard on the liver and kidneys. The liver and kidneys are the most likely organs to be harmed by the misuse of or overuse of strong herbs or essential oils. But the very same herbs and oils, if used only when appropriate and in appropriate doses can help the liver and kidneys do their cleansing work. Now that I've properly warned you not to get chained to the daily use of any stimulant without good reason, behold, I will praise the cleansing properties of Chinese tea and describe some of its qualities. Coming from China, tea is among the rarest of the herbs in the medicine bag of the Raphaim. But when available, it is a good tea with which to begin a cleansing regime. For if you have not been overusing it, tea will likely promote a healthy initial bowel movement if you drink it on the morning that you launch your cleanse. When you feel clogged up, that is a good time to try a cup of tea. If you have overeaten the past day, a cup of tea in the morning will move things through your intestines. One of the primary causes of sickness is a stuffed up and thus slowed up intestine. Tea promotes the flushing out of toxins through your skin and urine. When a female needs to touch her masculine, assertive side, Chinese tea is a good choice. And when a man or woman needs to stimulate his or her intellect for a period of intense thinking, tea is a good choice. That is another reason that I recommend launching a cleanse with tea. It will stimulate positive ideas and realizations that will enhance and guide the physical cleansing, unless you have already built up a tolerance by overuse. Here follows one basic outline of a simple cleanse. The herbal teas that I mentioned could be altered or alternated with others of similar characteristics. You replace herbs with others that have similar purpose, trading one expectorant for another, one anti-parasitic herb for another, and so on. Keep that in mind as you reflect on this outline of one example of a simple cleanse. In the evening before bed, drink garlic tea or other anti-parasitic teas. The next morning, drink Chinese tea or another bowel movement promoting beverage. During the day, eat cleansing foods and drinks. Juice, pure water, teas, and tonics are the likely drinks. I recommend including juicy fruits and salads that feature cleansing herbs. Do not overdo sweet roots. Cucumbers and leafy greens are excellent salad ingredients. In the evening, drink chamomile tea or another calming tea that is supportive of cleansing. Lemon balm or catnip are good choices. The next morning, have another cup of tea to again purge the system with a powerful bowel movement. I do not recommend having tea for a third consecutive day, as you will begin to build up a tolerance and require larger doses that can be hard on the kidneys and liver. Chamomile is a good simple tea for the evening of your cleanse because after having had tea or another stimulating tea in the morning, chamomile, promotes relaxation from stimulation so that you can sleep. Whereas tea is fiery and stimulating, chamomile is calming. It cleanses us of stress, even stress that is beneath our conscious awareness. Nasareans cleanse not only our physical bodies, but also our mental and emotional bodies. And chamomile does that while relaxing our nervous system for a peaceful sleep. Chamomile tea also promotes physical cleansing. I mentioned using garlic as an anti-parasitic ingredient in a cleanse. It is safe. All herbs have certain cautions associated with them. The relatively safe herbs are those with fewer cautions. Those herbs can be ingested without fear of dangerous side effects. even in rather large amounts. Garlic has a long history of safe use for a variety of purposes, including as an anti-parasitic ingredient in dietary cleansing practices. It can be used as a tea or as an ingredient in cleansing foods, such as broths and soups. When sick, suck on a garlic clove, chewing it a bit as able. While I'm on the topic of garlic, I will share one way that my mother Zibia used it to cure women of vaginal yeast infections. She taught them to insert a peeled garlic clove as a suppository in the vagina and leave it overnight. Any simple tea can be combined with one or more additional herbs to form a complex tea. Remember that a simple tea consists of just one herb, while a complex tea consists of a combination of two or more herbs. But before I mention several favorite complex teas, I will describe some additional simple teas that are good for cleansing. Here comes my favorite, mint tea. A good simple tea for cleansing is mint, but there are a couple of cautions. Mint is a stimulant. Too many cups over a several-day period, and you can find yourself feeling overstimulated. Wherefore, my mother, Zibia, taught me, Miri, 2 cups of mint tea in a day is enough to induce and support a mild cleanse. But do not drink it for many consecutive days, as its stimulating effect on the nervous system builds and may become unpleasant and interrupt sleep. Another caution of mint is, one second, says my connection was lost on my computer, so it's just, here we go. There you go. Cool. Another caution with the mint family and many other herbs is that they should be steeped, not boiled. To steep means to let an herb sit in water that is hot but not boiling. It is okay to first bring the water to a boil, but only add the herbage after it is done boiling. Mint, used properly, is one of the most common and effective simple teas in support of a mild cleanse. Mint has aided my own cleansing. Mint has a stimulating vibration. It tingles and causes the very organs of our body to vibrate in such a way that it induces the action of expulsion from the body. But when I, as a teen, disregarded Zibia's advice and drank too many cups of mint tea for several consecutive days, that tingling sensation grew too intense and disrupted my sleep. Sometimes the young choose to learn the hard way. So, mint excites and promotes elimination through the pores. It loosens mucus. Like many good things, moderation is important. I do not recommend using teas with strong oils like the mint family while pregnant. They are labor-inducing and can also overstimulate the unborn child. Women who take too many stimulating herbs while pregnant often give birth to babies that are overly excitable. Do your cleanse prior to pregnancy, not while pregnant or nursing. During pregnancy, focus your dietary practice on nutritive herbs that build strong bodies rather than the eliminative stimulants with strong oils that can negatively impact the fetus. The prophet Isaiah taught truly that there is an appropriate time for each natural thing under the sun. That teaching of Isaiah should be applied to herbal practices. What is right for one man or woman in one situation may be completely wrong for another person in another circumstance or with a different constitution. If you are pregnant or are asked to help a pregnant woman, always err on the side of caution when advocating particular herbs. The best herbalists are cautious with themselves and others. Miriam continued listing some favorite simple teas for cleansing. After describing the properties of mint, she next spoke of catnip and how it and other herbs are alternated over the course of a cleanse of more than one day. Miriam said, if you start a cleanse with a day or two of tea, preferably green tea, as a morning stimulant and chamomile as an evening emotional cleanser, a good follow-up is a day or two with mint taking the place of tea while letting catnip replace the chamomile. Oh, Essene herbalists, I tell you truly, mint in the morning and catnip in the evening is a wonderful mild cleanse, not just for the physical body, but also the emotional body. The emotional body in our entire subtle anatomy interpenetrates the physical body and interfaces with the soul. Thus, the men and women who are the master healers of Shevet Raphaim, the tribe of healers, treat not only the physical body, but also the subtle bodies. The effects on humans by catnip is not the same as with cats. Cats react to a particular element of catnip in a way that humans do not. For humans, it is a calming of the nervous system. I describe it as the feeling of the calm in the center of the storm. Not a sleepy calm, but a very centered and peaceful calm. Catnip is cleansing and calming for both the physical and emotional bodies and is an aid in spiritual centering. One quality of catnip is that it aids physical cleansing by being mildly sweat-inducing. Another quality of catnip, like mint, which is of the same family, is that in moderation it aids digestion. Catnip is an excellent tea for cleansing of the whole being. It is best experienced in the evening or any time that you can sit and be reflective a while. Drinking it 2 or 3 times per week is not too often. Next, Miriam described ginger simple tea for cleansing. A good replacement or alternate for garlic in a simple cleanse is ginger. Ginger tea is fiery and increases elimination via sweat. It opens the pores so that we can cleanse more effectively. It is also an expectorant, helping to remove congestion from the respiratory system. Like garlic, ginger is an anti-parasitic, which is an important element in a cleansing regime. Both garlic and ginger, though safe enough to include on a mild cleanse, are strong enough to be included on a strong cleanse. Ginger, though fiery, is soothing to the stomach. It is a delicious cleansing tea by itself and can be used in harmony with other herbs. Miriam said, my mother taught that ginger tea is a great remedy for gas. Of course, I have not had to test that remedy, having never had gas. Miriam laughed good-naturedly, and all the women giggled. Miriam said, another herb of the amazing mint family is horehound. Horehound is a favorite of the Olefim sailors. I'm not sure where all the rest of my words went to. Sorry about that. That's very odd. Okay. They drink it as a simple tea with honey, but also combine it with anise, cloves, cinnamon, and marshmallow in teas and other mediums, even making a lozenge that they suck while sailing the ocean. As a simple tea, horehound is not the most delicious of the mints, and thus we often add a bit of honey. I do not usually use honey in my own tea, so as to not overdo sugar, But I make occasional exceptions when appropriate, and horehound tea is one of those. I only use honey that is gathered by, or at least vouched for by, the good gatherers of Yisrael, who love bees and treat them well, or other trusted beekeepers of high integrity. Hello, bees. I only use honey that is gathered by, or at least vouched for by, the good gatherers of Yisrael, who love bees and treat them well, or other trusted beekeepers of high integrity. That means they're not getting these things from the store. None of their animal products were coming from the store, There we go. Yay. Horehound is not without reason called the seed of Horus by the Egyptians and the eye of the star by sages. Horehound is a very wizardly herb. Like other mints, do not use horehound when pregnant. Heed the midwives. Miriam said, "You all know that olive oil is a blessing and, as a dressing on salad, is healthful in moderation. The reason to be moderate in use is simply that it is fattening. But did you know that tea made from the leaf of the olive is wonderfully cleansing? It is that and more. Olive leaf is at or near the top of my favorite cleansing teas. It is so well-rounded that it is an effective cleanse in and of itself as a simple tea. Just drinking a cup in the morning, one in midday, and one before bed is an effective, mild, and very simple cleanse. Olive leaf tea is an effective treatment for various kinds of parasites. It also is helpful to drive away fevers. Although I am still listing simple teas, one herb teas, I feel called to declare right now that one of my favorite teas made of two herbs is olive leaf combined with hibiscus. I actually have some of those on their way to me so that I can start making my own herbal teas. I mention that now because I will serve it at the conclusion of this talk. And because I want to treat you sweetly, I will include honey. That is appropriate at a group celebration such as this." The gathered herbalists smiled. Miriam said, "Marshmallow is a powerful healing plant. Both the leaves and the root can be used to make tea. Because it has a softening property, it is good for intestinal inflammation. That property also makes marshmallow a favorite ingredient in treatments for respiratory illnesses. It is used medicinally for many conditions. On a cleanse, it is used to soften tissues so that they can let go of poisons, and also to soothe tissues that have been disturbed by irritants or coughing. Unlike aloe vera, which has similar softening qualities, marshmallow can be well used in a dry form. We can harvest the plant, dry it, and then use it later in a tea or other preparation. Marshmallow's softening properties are enhanced when fresh, but a tea is often more convenient. Wherefore, I emphasize again the importance of growing fresh herbs. You will not be able to grow every kind of herb in your climate, so you will use some of what have been dried and kept in jars. And even the herbs that you grow yourself in season, when out of season, you will use dry." Miriam said, "Hibiscus tea aids a cleanse in a variety of ways, and I love the unique taste. At the top of my list as an ingredient in a sun tea, a tea heated in the sun, is hibiscus. It is a tasty, nutritive, cleansing, and magical tea by itself as a simple, and combined with other herbs, it is the basis of some of my favorite complex teas of two or more herbs." Miriam said, red clover tea assists in general cleansing and also is good for coughs and congestion. On a cleanse, one of its many uses is as an expectorant. Miriam said, pleurisy root is not so much a general cleanser like red clover, but if congestion is so bad as to manifest as pleurisy or pneumonia, this is a strong yet very safe, simple tea to cleanse the respiratory system of mucus. It should not be used during pregnancy because it can induce premature labor due to its stimulating nature. Miriam said, like Nasarean green wizards, the Greek call hyssop a holy herb. It is used in temples and homes because of its subtle properties. It centers us spiritually and cleanses us emotionally. Hyssop is perfect for a cleanse that is intended as a spiritual and emotional healing experience. Add a handful of hyssop to a pot or pot of boiling water at the same time you remove the pot from the heat. A reminder, that method of making tea is called an infusion. Hyssop purges negativities from your subtle and physical bodies. Thus, it is a holistic expectorant. Lepers have been cleansed at the touch of a hyssop wand wielded by a powerful green wizard. But only those leprosies that are caused by subtle negativities of a certain kind will be healed by this touch. Hyssop wands are used by green wizards of the white rose to ward off evil vibrations. Green wizards often put hyssop sprigs, pre-flowered hyssop tops, or hyssop flowers on their home altar. Miriam smiled and said, just thinking of the delicious taste of anise is enough to make me smile. But it not only tastes so good that it is used to make treats, it also is good medicine, very helpful on a cleanse. Anise breaks up congestion and eases coughing by making it more productive. Stay away from supposed remedies that relieve coughing by suppressing the urge, for coughing serves a purpose. If you suppress a cough, the lungs build up too much mucus. The coughing is useful in breaking up the mucus, loosening it so it can be removed from the body. Anise breaks up congestion and enables coughing to complete its job sooner, which is to expel excessive mucus. Anise also relieves intestinal gas and has happy vibrations. Miriam said, another good expectorant is mullein tea. Mullein. It is a safe and effective treatment for the respiratory system. On a cleanse, mullein tea helps move excess mucus out of the body. Like anise, mullein makes coughing more productive, which means coughing will not last as long. Once coughing serves its purpose, it departs. Miriam said, burdock tea is a great blood cleanser. It is also helpful in cleansing the liver. Burdock tea is helpful for the swelling and aches sometimes associated with old age. Miriam said, milk thistle is the most important tea for liver cleansing and liver support. Miriam said, hawthorn cleanses the circulatory system. Not only does it purify the blood, it supports the heart in various ways. Miriam said, nettle tea is beneficial both for an occasional cleanse and as a general tonic. It has long been known to have cleansing properties. It is so beneficial that it is worth risking even getting stung harvesting it. It is one of those herbs that is best fresh picked and used the same day. My mother, Zibia, taught me that it was an anti-inflammatory. Nebiah, the prophetess, taught me that nettle rhizomes, the shoots that first emerge from the roots, also make a powerful cleansing tea for men's prostate and urination problems. Yum, rose petal tea. Miriam said, I end this brief listing of simple teas that are good for cleansing with one of my favorites, rose petal tea. A delicious delight as a sun tea if the petals are fresh, or by infusion if the petals are dried. Rose petal tea cleanses the emotional body. I often simply soak the rose petals in water and drink rose water. Even without hot water, an ample dose of rose essence will permeate a jug of water and petals left to sit for a day or two. And who can resist a rose petal bath? Bathing is essential to cleansing, and certain herbs benefit the bath. Miriam continued to speak to the Guild of Nasarean Herbalists of Mount Carmel. So that you can better understand why certain herbs are combined with others to form complex teas, I will explain the rationale of this art. The rationale is that because various herbs have various properties, it is possible to carefully select herbs of different but complementary qualities for your purpose. When your purpose is combining two or more herbs in a tea is to cleanse, then the wise master herbalist carefully chooses herbs that complement one another for that purpose. Yes, indeed, the choosing of herbs to combine together in a complex tea is an art. Wherefore, the master herbalist is an artist. My mother, Zibia, taught the following list of 7 qualities of herbs related to cleansing to her students in Nasarean herbology. And I now teach them to you. Absorbents. Herbs used to absorb toxins from tissues. An example, mullein. Eliminators. Herbs that help the body eliminate toxins through the kidneys, liver, lungs, and skin. An example, nettle. Antiparasitics. Herbs that expel worms and other parasites. An example, garlic. Soothers. Herbs that soften and soothe the tissues during the cleanse, especially by easing inflammation. An example, marshmallow. Perspirants. Herbs that assist the release of toxins via perspiration. An example, ginger. Blood cleansers. Herbs that are believed to promote the removal of toxins from the bloodstream. An example, red clover. And finally, loosening agents. Herbs that loosen phlegm in the lungs so that the eliminative herbs, which includes expectorants, can better do their job. An example, clove. As Zibia taught, one can create other categories of herbal qualities, but this is a good start related to general cleansing. Our first example of a complex tea for cleansing is based on the information just provided. It consists of one herb from each of the 7 categories above. Miriam said, and here on our screen we have, oh, sorry, I didn't change my screen. Perspirants, blood cleansers, and loosening agents. So the first example of a complex tea, mullein, nettle, garlic, marshmallow, ginger, red clover, and clove. Miriam said, mullein is an absorbent, nettle, an eliminator. garlic, an antiparasitic, marshmallow, a soother, ginger, a perspirant, red clover, a blood cleanser, and clove, an excellent loosening agent. So in this example, all 7 categories of cleansing qualities are represented in a 1 cup of tea. While I have given one example of an herb for each of those 7 categories, there are many herbs that qualify for each category. Miriam said, our second example of a complex cleansing tea is the same as the first example, except that we replace garlic with pumpkin seed and replace marshmallow with milk thistle. Whereas in example 1, garlic served as our chief antiparasitic agent, in example 2, that role is served by pumpkin seed. And whereas in example 1, marshmallow served as our chief soothing agent, in example 2, that role is served by milk thistle. In variation of this second example, that is instructive in regard to a topic I want to touch on. That topic being the fact that some herbs qualify to be listed in more than one of the 7 categories of cleansing qualities, is to drop nettle from the ingredients and let the garlic serve as both the antiparasitic and eliminator. And many like it is possible because some versatile herbs qualify to be listed as possessing the properties associated with more than one of the 7 categories of cleansing qualities. In this case, garlic is both a renowned antiparasitic and a renowned eliminator. That sort of versatility is not uncommon and makes possible many variations. For example, one more variation on our second example is to let red clover double as both the blood cleanser and the eliminator. It has both those properties, and drop nettle. We need not limit ourselves to just one representative of a particular quality. Indeed, sometimes we double up or triple up on a quality that we believe the drinker of the tea needs most. When you want to use a part of the plant, like root or ginger, that needs extended heat of decoction in combination with soft herbage like nettle that prefer the lesser heat of infusion, you brew them separately initially and then combine them to steep together. While it is not a rule, Nasarean herbalists generally do not combine more than 7 herbs in any one complex tea. One reason is that, since we always use the safest herbs possible to achieve any given purpose, many of the herbs we most often recommend are so mild that at least 2 or 3 pinches are needed for an effective dose. And doing that with any more than 7 herbs at a time becomes a lot of pinches for one batch of tea. Miriam said, examples 3 through 6 are examples of complex teas that consist of 3 herbs each. In each of those 4 examples, the 3 particular herbs that are used differ, but each is an example of the strategy called tripling up for a given purpose. Each consists of 3 herbs that share a given cleansing quality. Our third example of a complex tea consists of the following 3 herbs: cinnamon, clove, and anise. Among their other diverse qualities, each of these 3 herbs are considered to be a great loosening agent, each particularly effective in loosening lung congestion. Because we are limiting this complex tea to 3 herbs, each cup will contain a reasonably large dose of each herb. So let's say that we begin the day by drinking several cups of this complex tea to loosen congestion in the lungs. This could be our own lungs or the lungs of a patient. This tea would most likely be chosen when one has noticed that he or she or another person is experiencing excessive congestion in the lungs that would be benefited by loosening. Having spent the morning loosening the congestion, the next logical step is to spend the middle of the day drinking a powerful eliminator, specifically an eliminator known to remove or eliminate congestion from the lungs. One great choice for this eliminator tea is given in example 4. Miriam continued, among their other diverse qualities, each of these 3 herbs are considered to be great eliminators of congestion from the lungs. Marshmallow root, mullein, and rose hips. If you drink a simple or complex tea for the purpose of loosening congestion, it is important to follow that by drinking a tea intended to remove that now loosened congestion or mucus out of the body. A variation on this tea is to replace either the mullein or rose hips with horehound. Because moving lung congestion out of the body is typically accompanied by an appropriate amount of productive coughing, one might wisely choose to follow the midday tea described in example 4 with an evening tea intended to soothe the tissue that get irritated by coughing. See example 5. Miriam continued, among their other diverse qualities, each of these 3 herbs are considered to be great soothers. Parsley root, milk thistle, and marshmallow. Although marshmallow was included in example 4 as an eliminator, we include it again here because it is the best of the soothers. Because marshmallow is also a great eliminator, our evening soother tea, while tripling up on soothing, will also continue to remove mucus from the body. Miriam said, if one has a problem with parasitic worms, the following tea triples up on that problem. Wormwood, garlic, and ginger root. If you add another parasitic to those 3, you have squared up on the problem. Many herbs used for taste or aroma in complex teas also have therapeutic benefits. For example, 2 herbs commonly used in teas for aromatic purposes are mint and chamomile. Both also have therapeutic qualities. Licorice, anise, and ginger are often used as taste enhancers, but also have therapeutic benefits. So, the naming of the herb in a particular recipe as aromatic or taste enhancer or therapeutic depends on the main purpose of the tea brewer for including a given herb. Because this talk is on cleansing, especially mild cleansing, the sample recipes have been related to that purpose. But you can use simple teas and complex teas for many different therapeutic purposes, and also for non-therapeutic purposes. One time you might drink licorice tea for its taste, and another time to aid a sore throat. Another time you might use licorice because it is an excellent blood cleanser, and another time because it is a general tonic. Yet another time you might use licorice to treat a cough. I stress that in brews of just 1 or 2 herbs, we get more of those specific herbs than when we drink them in a more complex combination. So you might try drinking one type of simple tea, 1 herb tea, in the morning, switch to a different simple tea for the middle of the day, and a 3rd type of simple tea in the evening. An advanced student will come to know the synergistic and additive effects of the herbs involved in any recipe, and will thus know which herbs do combine well and which do not. For example, the therapeutic value of one herb might be lost or hindered when used in combination with some other herb. And one herb might enhance a particular quality of another herb. The more complex the tea, the more ingredients it includes, the more the likelihood increases of significant interactions between the herbs. While the study of complex tea combinations is thus itself complex, there is a simple, helpful guideline taught to me by Zibia. It is, let's get her wise words on our screen here. If an herbal tea recipe has been used for a particular purpose down through the generations with evident success and safety, that is good evidence both of the safety and efficacy of that recipe. Nevertheless, we do not accept the ideas of previous generations without carefully examining them in the light of current knowledge. I want to share with you one last example of a complex tea. I am ending with this one because it is especially significant to me. Though my father, Holy Zamira, was killed while saving my life when I was a child, I still remember the tea he made whenever I had a sore throat. Though he gave it to me when I had a sore throat, this same recipe is also a good cleansing tea, though you might skip the honey. I honestly confess, as a child, I greatly appreciated the honey. Since Zamira said that he got the recipe from his grandmother, wise Yishra, that makes this a recipe from previous generations of my family line. In the light of my current knowledge, this old recipe stands up. That old family recipe is anise, horehound, clove, cinnamon, marshmallow root, and, at least for the children, honey. Oh. Boo. Sorry about that. I thought it was on my screen. Well, the next part is Magdalene's favorite chai recipe. Sorry about that. Anise, the family recipe was anise, horehound, clove, cinnamon, marshmallow root, and for the children, honey. So, a woman in the assembly asked Miriam, "Can you give us the recipe for the chai tea that you learned to make in India?" Miriam replied, "I try variations on the recipe according to what is available at the time. My favorite recipe for chai tea was given to me by Beten Jallah, the wizardess, after I arrived at the Nasarean encampment outside Benares. The recipe is as follows. If you want it to be extra stimulating, include Chinese tea in the recipe. Whether or not you include stimulating tea, the other ingredients are coriander, cardamom, clove, nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon sticks, and black pepper. If you are a milk drinker, include some. Otherwise, you can substitute water for the milk. The water version is best when on a cleanse." I will next share some examples of cleansing tonics, broths, soups, and salads. I will not treat these topics in the lengthy way I did teas. I will then end by sharing my thoughts on fasting as a cleansing practice. In regard to fasting, I will speak on both water fasting and juice fasting. 3 tonic drinks for cleansing. Miriam said, a tea can be a tonic, but not every tonic need be a tea, and not every tea is a tonic. Likewise, the juice of fruits or vegetables can be a tonic, but not every juice is a tonic. Also, not every tonic is intended to be drunk. By the word tonic, Nasareans refer to various vibrational interventions intended to raise the vibrations of the recipient to a higher tone of well-being, where health is dramatically enhanced. So a tonic drink is a particularly type of tonic that, as the name declares, is a beverage. While many teas qualify as tonic drinks, I will now describe 3 tonic drinks that are not typically considered teas. Because this sermon is on the topic of cleansing, these 3 drinks are from the specific subcategory of tonic drinks called tonic drinks for cleansing. Vinegar has long been considered a good tonic to aid digestion. It is supportive of general health and well-being and is helpful on a cleanse. Just before drinking, I prefer to dilute the vinegar by adding some to a cup of water. Thus, I call it diluted vinegar. If you drink vinegar without adding water, just have a few sips. Vinegar can be combined with other ingredients to form a complex tonic. Alone or with water, it is a simple tonic. Nasarean tonics, like our other herbal products, can be empowered by wizardly enchantments. The enchantments are chanted at the time of adding each ingredient. Crush. There are various methods. Green herbage and collect the green water. Add that green water to a cup of water and drink. Green water is perhaps the best general tonic drink, enhancing well-being in so many ways. Just one of those ways being that of cleansing. It can be included with other ingredients in a complex tonic, but even alone is very powerful. And finally, try combining the green water tonic with rose water for a transcendental tonic that I call the elixir of heavenly delight. Yes, it is cleansing, but also so much more. Not every flower water is a tonic, but many, including rose petal water, are excellent tonics. While green water tonic alone is a simple tonic, combined with rose petal water, it is a complex tonic. Broths. Broths are watery soups. But do not think that a watery soup is without power. I tell you truly, cleansing broths are a powerful mix of water and the vibrations of cleansing herbs and cleansing spices. Cleansing soups are soups that include as key ingredients herbage and spices known to have cleansing properties. Heavier and more nutritive than broths, soups are excellent meals on longer cleanses where more nutritive foods is desired than on short-term tea, juice, or water fasts. When affirming an enchantment in the present for a future good outcome, stir in one circular direction from right to left, all the way around the cauldron at least 3 times for each ingredient. Keep stirring in the same spiral motion for the duration of the words of enchantment for each ingredient. When affirming an enchantment of understanding, healing, forgiveness, or blessing on past experiences for yourself or others, stir the cauldron I think my computer's overheating. Stir the cauldron in one circular direction from left to right, all the way around the cauldron at least 3 times for each ingredient. As in the previous example, future outcomes, keep stirring in the same spiral motion for the duration of the words of the enchantment for each ingredient. But this time, past experiences, that direction is left to right. One second. After adding the ingredients, when stirring the cauldron for the practical purpose of mixing the seasonings and ingredients, stir from right to left, left to right, back and forth in alternating directions for the purpose of better mixing. You can turn even that practical mixing into a magical practice by affirming positive enchantments on the dispersal of blockages within and around. On a cleanse, the words of the enchantment are linked to that purpose. Know this. There is a sacred tradition called stirring the cauldron. Green Wizards of the White Rose teach it to our students. Also know this. When a wizardess makes soup, lo, every movement has meaning. Behind even the most practical movements are deep alchemical meanings. Of course, that is true in all aspects of life. Salads are a great main meal on a cleanse. By the word salad is meant a bowl of raw vegetation. On a cleanse, the salad should include vegetation that is known to have healing properties. Green leafy vegetables are at the top of the list. Parsley is excellent. Cucumbers are excellent. Many Nasareans eat a salad almost every day when available, whether on a cleanse or not. That is one reason that long-term Nasareans typically are not as needful of an intense cleanse as the non-Nasarean population. Our daily diet is itself mildly cleansing, especially if we include a daily salad. Teas and tonic drinks are the most watery of the Nasarean dietary cleansing practices, unless we consider fasting on water as a dietary practice. But fasting on water seems more like an undietary practice. Miriam laughed, and so did the assembly. Miriam continued, Yahshua and I believe and teach that fasting is an inner calling. Nobody should tell another person to fast. Although there are potential health and spiritual benefits, water fasting is not without risk. I have personally known persons that died before they reached their preordained day to end their fast. Rather than listen when their body told them that it needed to be fed, they starved their body to death. Behold, long water fasts are risky, and none should tell another to fast. But if you are called inwardly to fast, fast. But do not declare in advance the length of your fast. Or if you have chosen to fast a certain number of days, at least listen carefully to your body and end the fast if it so advises. Better you fast less days than you set out to accomplish than to drop your body due to not listening to it. When I, on occasion, feel called to fast on water, I choose a sunny day and place the water in the sun before drinking. I sunbathe a good portion of that day, not only because it promotes cleansing, but because it provides a subtle sort of energy that empowers the fast. Another liquid fast that I have on occasion enjoyed is to drink a tea of whatever herb that intuition, coupled with ongoing herbal studies, advises for each day of the fast. One can also fast on watery broth. The other common liquid fast is juice, or juice diluted in water. It is better to drink the juice of green, leafy herbs combined with watery cucumbers. I call that formula greens and cucumber juice. Than to drink the juice of sweet fruits and thus overdo sugar. Wherefore, my warning on juice fasting is this: be wary of overdoing sugar. One of my favorite drinks for a fast or any other time is to combine the greens and cucumber juice with ginger tea. If you have worms, a portion of your liquid fast should include teas with anti-parasitic herbs in conjunction with a daily enema. The enema water must first be boiled. Otherwise, you might intake parasites into the very region from which you are attempting to expel them. The enema can include anti-parasitic tea water. If you have been an unhealthy eater for many years, and this includes all meat eaters, I suggest eating only raw herbage for 7 days instead of a fast. In fact, because a liquid fast is so stressful for many people and is not without danger, most folks are better off cleansing on raw herbage. Yahshua recently advised a group of men suffering from worms to do a raw herbage cleanse for the duration of 1 day per year of life. A 30-year-old man would do the cleanse for 30 days, a 40-year-old for 40 days, and so on. But for those without worms, a 7-day raw herbage cleanse is long enough for a safe, mild cleanse. And of course, you can include cleansing teas and juices. Raw herbage is a featured part of the Nasarean cleansing diet. Even when not on a cleanse, I recommend that Nasareans eat 1 meal of raw herbage, a salad, each day when available. That way, one does a bit of cleansing all the time and is less likely to need many major cleanses. Only when doing a cleanse should you limit your diet to cleansing foods. Do it permanently, and you may waste away and become a very clean corpse. I spoke today on cleansing practices and emphasized the rule on cleansing teas. But herbal teas can be enjoyed for a wide variety of purposes, and there are many recipes for those various purposes. Those recipes must wait for another lecture, for behold, I am ready to sing and dance. Let us now join hands and form a song circle. Afterwards, I will serve tea. The next chapter, chapter 56, is definitely a chunky one as well, from page 672 to 694. And it is called Herbal Body Care Products, including massage oils, aromatherapy scents and methods, tinctures, beauty and therapeutic treatments, and related topics, with a description of the Essene medicine bag. So I will definitely need a few days to finish all of those slides. But what great information! So many great things. I love tea. So many great ways that we can use nature all around us to literally heal ourselves, even just doing mild cleanses, like pick a daily cleanse routine and figure out something that works for you in your own life. All right. Hello to everybody in the chat. Mordo says that they've been living on dandelion and chives. Wow, that's interesting. I know that dandelion tea is really, really beneficial for us. So keep up the good work. Dave says it looks like I gotta up my frequency of bathing. Yes, me too. I definitely, yeah, I try to bath and clean myself as much as possible. But sometimes it's not possible, especially when you're traveling and all this stuff. So, it's so good. I am really looking forward to, right now it's probably warm enough down the mountain to go jump in the lake and just be in that kind of cleansing water as well. So, really looking forward to that. Hey, flip the script. I also enjoy all of these. Thanks for watching and tuning in. Jennifer says, hello, sister. This is one of my favorite chapters. Praises to our watchtower, our guardian of the flock, our rose above all roses, Miriam, Magdalene, Jana Incarnate. Amen and a woman. Thank her for all of her great wisdom and inspiration. Mordo says, this will prove to be one of your better videos, so change the title a little to reflect wild teas. Okay, I'll definitely consider that so that more people will be inspired to watch. Contemplative Rose, hello, beautiful, amazing reading and memes. Thank you for all of your work. And you too. I am so grateful for all of the lovely sisters out here, including Jennifer, the Blue Rose Temple here. That was commenting TBR Temple. Thank you so much for your dedication and work to the Holy Megillah as well. It's amazing how many of us have been put on this path and changed by this information. Super excited to get into the next readings with you. Tomorrow, I'm probably not going to have all the next slides done, but I will be not traveling, so I'll be able to go live at noon for whatever message is placed on my heart, and then at 3:30 have the live chat where we can talk about the truth of our reality and conspiracies. I have some gifts that I would like to show you, some cool things that I just got, and yeah, love to chat about all of the fun things. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. May God and the Goddess bless you.